Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube? Playing some Vulcan today, my favorite mage, and that might be a surprise to some of you guys, because those who know me know that my main character in Duel, if you want to call it that, is HI-REZ. And I do love HI-REZ a lot. Like, he's probably my second favorite mage, but the thing about HI-REZ is he's my best mage. He's not actually my favorite mage. I mean, I do like his lore a lot. His lore is really cool. But yeah, he's my second favorite mage. My favorite mage is Vulcan. And I know a lot of people are going to be sad to hear that because a lot of people hate Vulcan. I know there is a lot of Vulcan fans out there, though. Shoutouts to you guys. A lot of people like to play him. It's just everybody hates to go against him, right? And for good reason. He's really, really, really annoying. And let me stop yapping for like 1 second here. What am I building? Should I just go horrific? Is that like insane to do? Is that like a crazy, insane thing? Or we could go bracer. Why not? Why not? I think we're going to start blue buff, maybe. Perhapsington. But at the same time, do I want to give him a free red buff? I don't think I do. No. Alright, maybe we'll go to red. But anyways, my favorite mage, and, you know, sorry if you hate me for that. Inferno Cannon is one of my favorite spells in the whole game. It is completely broken and should probably be nerfed, but they keep buffing it instead of nerfing it for whatever reason. Oh. I was actually so focused on like thinking about whether he was going to invade me or not. I wasn't even like I wasn't even thinking about what minion my turret was shooting and whether it was efficient or not and whether it was going to die or not. I cannot believe an ADC rushed a blue buff, a ROM ADC. And by the way, yes, I am maxing the turrets. It is completely broken. If you're not maxing the turret in Duel, you're doing something wrong in my opinion. It is utterly broken. If you don't want to be quote-unquote scummy, then don't play Vulcan, right? So the way I see it is, some people consider maxing the turret to be like scummy or whatever, but it's like, I mean, the whole character is considered to be that way, right? So he doesn't have an Aegis. I mean, I respect the aggression. Also, I just want to point out that I put my bracer down like that. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the way I put my bracer down. I just want to be transparent with you guys and say that I thought that I had horrific. I definitely thought that I was horrificing him when I put down that bracer. And so when he like actually almost got out of my ult a little bit, you know, he was close. When he almost got out of my ult, I was like, wait, how is it even possible for him to get out of my ult when I just horrificed him? That doesn't make sense, right? Also, he went shell. I don't even know if he used his shell. I didn't even see it. But either way, whether he did or not, shell is just a terrible relic and he shouldn't be buying that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the Joust tournament from yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure to check it out. Literally the most recent video. The $3,000 Joust tournament I played in with David, aka Shinigami, aka Pringles, and Cosmos. You guys want to check that out? I had a lot of fun playing in it. It was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, because if you did, I will be sure to make more content like that in the future. Dude, Vulcan is so oppressive, man. Oh, and by the way, just a quick summary of why you max turret, aside from just it's OP, lol. Because I actually used to max the backfire back in my day. Used to max the backfire, so you may be wondering what changed. It's pretty simple actually. HI-REZ nerfed. This is like mostly old news, like, you know, like 6 months ago, whatever, something like that. But HI-REZ nerfed Vulcan's 1 twice. Like, they nerfed the cooldown on it twice, making it longer. And on top of that, they buffed the cooldown of the turret twice. Like, they made the cooldown of the turret get that lower. It used to be like 16 seconds. I think like way back in the day it was 18. I don't remember. But the point is it went from like 16 or 18 or whatever down to 10. And so that's 2 buffs to the turret cooldown, and on top of that, they buffed the damage of it. So it's like they nerfed the backfire twice, and they buffed the turret at least 3 times. So you can probably understand why, in my opinion at least, it changed a bit. Plus, Vulcan turret has always just been a strong PvE ability, strong zoning ability. It's always been just a strong ability. It's just the backfire was so low cooldown, and the turret was so high cooldown that you didn't really want to level it, right? But they kind of changed that up, right? So that's why. So at this point, whether you want to call it scummy or not, or this or that, whatever, if you're playing Vulcan and not maxing the turret, you're simply just doing yourself an injustice. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors by doing that. But that's not to say you can't do just fine leveling the 1. It's not like it's terrible. Turret's just way better, that's all. Oh, I don't have any mana. I think he shelled because he thought I was gonna one him. I thought I was gonna one him too, to be fair, but yeah, the reason why Vulcan is so insane is just the turret is so oppressive. Like, don't get me wrong, the CC on the meatball is annoying. You know, being able to run away and poke with the 1 is annoying for sure, but like, it mainly comes down to the fact that the turret is just super oppressive. And the ult is a good zoning tool, and late game it actually goes down in cooldown as you level it. So it's just like, honestly, the truth is Vulcan just has, and his passive gives movement speed. Every single thing about Vulcan, all 4 abilities and his passive are all very good for duel. Like, they're all very good. And that's not to say he's an unbeatable character and he should be top pick, top banned every single game. He does have some poor matchups. You know, your Bastets, a really good Camazotz, a lot of the top hunters like Hou-Yi, on her, and Ullr is a bit tricky because you can block the axe with your turret, but still Ullr should beat him. So that's just right there, that's 3 hunters off the top of my head. That's like 2 assassins, a few warriors can beat it. Like, again, Vulcan is not the best duel character, but he is one of those characters that if you're good at him, you can get a lot of dubs, especially if you ban correctly. So, but he is incredibly oppressive and incredibly annoying, and you typically when you win against him, it's because you played like perfectly. A couple exceptions. Oh, like Bakasura beats him too, by the way. But a couple of exceptions to that is like Bastet. Like Bastet, you don't have to play perfectly to beat a Vulcan. You just have to be a dumb cat, you know, and do whatever you want, and you pretty much win, whatever. Kind of annoying, but goes how it goes. Okay. Interesting. I don't know why this guy, why he doesn't have Aegis or like anything really. I don't know. But another thing about Vulcan that's really good, and this isn't necessarily Vulcan, it's just the mage meta, right? Is a really good build in this meta. It's just a rush full cooldown, like straight up just as soon as you can get the Chronos Pendant breastplate online. And the reason why that's insane is because his turret is like unkillable in the early game. I mean, okay, it's not unkillable, right? But it's really hard to kill. Like, it has a lot of HP and procs. So basically, and it's already on a 10-second cooldown. So if you have max cooldown, it's a 6-second cooldown. And if you get a Chronos Pendant proc, it's a 5-second cooldown. So by the time they kill this turret or go around it, you have another one up. So it's just like, you know, this type of build is very strong for Vulcan. Like, some people would say against a ROM, since all of his damage comes from basic attacks, you want to go Midgardian Mail against a ROM, and that's definitely decent, but we're resetting the red buff because he's ulting it, of course. But Midgardian is definitely a good item against ROM, but you're definitely hurting your early game a lot on Vulcan if you don't just rush the full cooldown, right? He's gonna get his blue here. I'm actually okay with that. No big deal. No big deal. I recognize this guy's name from something, but I don't know what. Weird. Weird. As you can see, he killed the turret right there. And my turret's up in 1 second, right? And that's with him focusing it. I mean, if he wants me to stay and fight him, I can. Oh. Dang, he might actually get my blue buff. I meant to stop my back. Okay, he did not. By the way, I do not need to go book here. I'm going book here mostly like for fun, but also because it is very good in the late game, don't get me wrong. Very solid late game item. But it's more of just like, I could just pressure my lead even harder and go like a Divine Ruin, or go pen like Obshard. Like big pin item, you know, Rada Tahuti. I could go anything that just does more damage at this stage of the game. Also, by the way, I do think tablet is a viable item on Vulcan. I just don't necessarily think you need to do it. It's like you're securing that you're going like super late game when you do that, and Vulcan has a very good early game, so I don't think you need to do it, but it's viable. But anyways, back to book. I'm going book because I just like having infinite mana, to be honest. I just love having infinite mana, and it's a lot of damage as well on top of that, so pretty easy to stack third item these days as well due to the stacking changes. I haven't used my bracer too much this game. Definitely something I need to pay attention to because I don't really buy bracer that much, to be fair. Alright, he's going into the tower. Alright, we missed our meatball, but that is our least important ability to land, so no big deal. Guy is actually 1 HP. I feel like I hit him, he just had shell or something. I respect the play. He actually could have killed me there. But I feel like I had pretty good movement overall. Like, he definitely missed and he definitely choked, but at the same time, you got to give me a little bit of the credit, right? And say that I had pretty good movement, because I think I did. Could have been worse. Oh, there's a Chester over there. I don't think we're going to be too greedy and go for it. Oh, he's going to get the red buff, I think, which sucks. That absolutely sucks. I don't know what second relic I want yet. I'll probably go, like, especially if he doesn't go in Aegis, which I can't imagine he's not going to go Aegis, right? He has to against the Vulcan. But if he doesn't go Aegis, I'll probably go Sprute, aka Sprint upgrade, which allows me to root them. I'm getting red buff, sucks. I probably should have just backed. Going for that Meteor was greedy. Yeah, going for the Meteor was definitely greedy. Maybe his Chester is up there. Because he went for the red buff, right? Gotta keep in mind he does have a red buff here, but I also gotta keep in mind that I have my Ob Shard online now. I do some big numbers, baby. And that is why Inferno Cannon is one of the best abilities in the game right there, ladies and gentlemen. Not to say I missed a bunch of abilities, because I don't think I did. You know, I'm not going to pretend like I had 100% accuracy either, but I think I landed most of my abilities. But the turret, you know, if you have good turret placement, which is not a difficult thing to do by any means, if you have good turret placement, it's just so annoying to deal with. For any class, honestly. I'd say Hunters probably have it the easiest out of everyone, and that's the sad part for this guy. Why did he go Genjis over Shoguns, by the way? Dude, I don't understand this guy in the slightest, to be honest with you guys. I do not understand him at all. I think I'm just going to pick up this, get this, and I'm going to get a power pot. What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying. I already forgot. GG. It's over. Oh, I was going to say that the sad part for this guy is that, like, Hunters probably have the best matchup in the entire game into the cannon. Like, melee characters, it's so annoying having to walk into it and walk around it. And mages, sometimes they actually can't kill the turret without, like, using one of their abilities on it kind of thing, and that always feels bad. So, I mean, auto-attack mages like Freya are fine, right? I just am looping those in with the Hunters, let's be real. But yeah, it's just super annoying. He might be on Bull Demon, actually. Let me go check. So, what I'm trying to get at here is, this is like a best case scenario for him. I mean, maybe not Rom specifically. Rom's a bit of a low tier hunter, but at the end of the day, he is a hunter into Vulcan. Or, yeah, into Vulcan. Or into the Inferno Cannon more specifically, and there's just nothing he can do, right? Let's go, baby, let's go. Let's go, baby, let's go. This is kind of just light work, obviously. Like, don't get me wrong, this guy's playing a little bit of a low-tier hunter. And I don't know what he's building. Like, why doesn't he have an Aegis? Why does he have Shell? Why does he have Genjis? Who knows, man? But either way, again, unless you're, like, against, like, a top-tier hunter, like Ulir Hoyi on her, and a top-tier player, this is kind of just how Vulcan matches go. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, Vulcan is very, very hard to deal with. He has a very good snowball potential. He's one of those mages that, like, his early game is actually just super, super cracked. So you can pressure really hard with him. I do way too much damage for him to deal with me right now. I have a red pot. I have a red buff. I just got Rod to Hootie finish. There's absolutely nothing he can do. I think the only reason he's not going Aegis is because he wants to keep this golden shard for wave clear, but definitely not worth it. think this guy's just... Dude, I feel like my game is stuttering a bit. It is patch day, so maybe there's something wrong. But, like, I do feel like I'm lagging a bit more than usual. Not like ping, more like frame rate, I guess. And it's not even, like, bad. It's just random stutters, I guess. Just kind of casting abilities off cooldown, trying to be oppressive. My turret shoots him for 300. I don't really want to end this early, man. Because I think it's pretty obvious. I think it should be pretty obvious to you guys that I can end right now. But I wanted to get my Sprute and do the cool little Vulcan Sprute thing. Because it's like one of my favorite things to do on Vulcan. Maybe I'll just go buy it in his fountain right now. Maybe that's what I should do. Nah, he's gonna punish me. Alright, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna back, buy Sprutes, and kill him. We're gonna lose our red buff though, which is actually kind of bad. That does kind of suck. Because I think his ult's down, right? Wait, actually no, never mind. I think his ult is up. That's not good. If he can just ult my Sprute combo, then we did all this for nothing. But I don't wanna play with my food too much because I know a lot of you guys don't like to watch that kind of thing, right? So we'll do our best to end here. I just wanted to buy the Sprute and then see if we can pull it off. If we can't, no biggie. We'll just end the game as per usual. I'm also waiting on my bracer too. It'd be nice to have my bracer up in 6 seconds here. For even more big boy damage. If we can force out his roll, that would be big, so we can do the Sprute combo on him. Okay, we got it. There we go. See, that was worth it. Maybe you guys don't care. Maybe that wasn't fun to watch for you guys, but I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things about Vulcan. See, like right there, my like screen froze at the end of the thing. I don't even know. So I'll explain my build a little bit here at the end because I know you guys like that kind of stuff. You guys comment about it. I don't usually do it that often these days. I used to do it all the time, and I think you guys really appreciated it, and I stopped somewhere along the line. I think it was because I was doing multiple game videos. Like I was showing you guys like 3 or 4 games, making videos 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours long, right? Let's go ahead and say GG to this guy real quick. GG. GG. And then we're going to leave lobby. And then we'll go over to Vulcan. I'll show you guys some of the builds I think are very good on him. Again, I'm not really going to talk about tablet much, but if you want to go tablet, you can. Just go at first item. No reason not to go at first item. I mean, aside from the fact that it hurts your early game, but I mean, if you're the type of person who wants to go tablet, you're not worried about the early game anyways, so I'll just quickly mention it. Tablet of Destinies, it's a fine item. No real reason to get it though. I'd say in most situations, I'm always going this build. Chronos Pendant into Breastplate. And for me personally, I usually like to go book. Even if you actually could skip this and say like you could even do this, by the way, if you wanted to, Obshard into book, and that would be fine. But yeah, your book's just gonna come online a lot later. But usually people build defense around third item, and so unless you're snowballing really hard, the book's not gonna feel as good as the Obshard, of course. I mean, naturally it's a stacking item and it doesn't have that much pen. I mean, it has like flat pen near the time you get it upgraded, and that's about it. But here's my thing with Vulcan is when you have these 2 first items, you should be able to snowball incredibly hard in the early game. And also another thing is I'm going to have to put those items back on there, which sucks. But if you read his Inferno Cannon, if you're maxing this ability first, Inferno Cannon ignores 25% of the target's magical protection. So that's not to say that Vulcan doesn't need pen. That's just to say that he can get away with not going pen third item a little bit better than some of these other mages. That's all that means. And by the way, I'll put down here defensive item. If you're against a magical, then you get the Genji's Guard, of course. And if you go Genji's Guard, you're only gonna have 30% cooldown instead of you're only gonna have 30% cooldown instead of 40%. Sorry, I just got a text message, got a little distracted there. Which makes Staff of Mirrodin more viable, by the way. You can definitely go Staff of Mirrodin if you're going Genji's. But here, boom, boom. And I would go this. By the way, you can overcap cooldown. It's not a big deal. Like, for example, if you go these 2 items, you can go Staff of Mirrodin in this build, overcap cooldown. It would not be a big deal at all. But my preferred build and the one I go pretty much every single item with only one exception, and I'll show you guys the exception here. Boom, boom. If you need Divine Ruin a little bit earlier, you can go it earlier. If you don't need Divine Ruin, then don't get it at all. That's perfectly fine, but I would say boom. This would be your build, I would say, if you need Divine Ruin. If you do not need Divine Ruin, then last item, the world is your oyster, man, whatever you want to call it. You can go Doom Orb. You can go, in no particular order, by the way. No particular order here. You can go Doom Orb. You can go Polynomicon for more objective damage. You can go Reaver. Reaver, especially when you're against these tanky warriors like Hercules, Osiris, stuff like that, right? I think Hercules is currently banned in this set, but whatever. And Mirrodin. Here would be the top items I would recommend to you guys if you didn't need the Divine Ruin, right? But some matchups you'll see that maybe you do need the Divine, and maybe you should take out the book and have the Divine so you can get this defensive item here, Relic Dagger. But what I would suggest is if you are in a matchup where you really need Relic Dagger, I'd say just screw the Divine. Whether you need it or not, screw the Divine, man. Just get your damage online. So I would say here, let me fix the build here. Boom. Wait, hold on. Boom, 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 boom. A Relic Dagger 5th or 6th, whatever. And you may say, why would you want Relic Dagger? It depends on the matchup. Some matchups, like Bakasura, for example, which you probably should just never find yourself against the Bakasura. But against Bakasura, really good relics to use against him are Sprint. Oh wait, hold on. Sprint. Wings. There we go. Entangling Wings is very good versus Bakasura, and you want that up as much as possible. Relic Dagger gives you extra HP, gives you cooldown, although you don't need cooldown here. Again, just a random suggestion. I'm not going to really put it on the build because it's just not really something I would suggest, but technically, if you go Relic Dagger with the breastplate build, you could probably swap out something for Mirrodin and then sell your breastplate for Midgard, and that's pretty good. But like, I don't know, that's a little bit min-maxy, and it delays your 3k pop, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Don't worry about overcapping; it's not a big deal. But when you go against the Bakasura, I would get Sprout, and I would get either Bracer, Med, Horrific, or Aegis. And I know that's a lot of different suggestions for you guys, so I'll simplify it. I'm just saying that all of those are very good. All of those can be very good. Your safest bet is just to go Aegis. And if you have Aegis Sprout, you should be able to survive most Bakasura ults. And if you can survive his ult, you should be fine. Because even if he has hastened, he shouldn't be able to kill you without his ult. You know, you just backfire, you meatball your feet, etc, etc. So again, Relic Dagger is not a part of the main build by any means, but there are some matchups that are just way too difficult, man. Maybe you find yourself against a Bastet or something, which should be just an unwinnable matchup. But your best bet is to, you know, go bead something else and get yourself a Relic Dagger and try your best. Relic Dagger can be one of those items that actually can win you a really hard matchup. So keep your eyes open for this relic. It's very good. It's just situational, right? And again, Bracer, it's just going to give you more movement speed. If you have Sprint and Bracer around a Baka, you can actually run circles around that guy very well, but it's not that safe. So I would recommend, if you're, you know, admittedly not the best player in the world, right? I would recommend you go Entangling Sprint with your Relic Dagger and Aegis. But again, if you want to just try things out and see what works for you, Upgraded Med gives you more meatballs, gives you more turrets, gives you more mobility. Horrific can obviously slow him down, but what if he has a sprint? What if he has a wing blade, etc.? A little bit more counterplay to that one. And what was the other one I said? I said Aegis, Sprint, Horrific, Med. Yeah, all three of those. All four of those can be very good. Again, Aegis being your safest bet, Bracer probably being the best one out of all of them if you use it properly. If you get 100% use out of it, Bracer has the most potential, giving you tons of damage, tons of movement speed, very good. Just make sure they're not sentry warding your Bracer. That's the only thing about that. But yeah, I think that's all I have to yap about here today. I'm trying to think, is there any more like situational items and stuff like that? I don't think so, man. Like, I think this is pretty much it. Like, E-Staff can be good in certain matchups, so can Jim, but I'm not going to give you guys that. You can go the standard lifesteal build if you want. Bancroft's, Typhon's, Poly. That is still a viable build if that's what you're interested in doing. It's just not what I like these days, and I don't think it's the best build. I really just don't. I think this build is much better. It just depends on your matchup. Some matchups you feel like you need a little bit more sustain, right? And again, you can swap that up. You don't. I would say the only thing that's like you should do every single game in this build is Chronos Pendant Breastplate. Well, no, yeah, just Chronos Pendant Breastplate and maybe Rod Tahuti, right? The rest of it is situational. Although I'm just telling you guys how I build and how I like to play. and how I build and how I like to play is I'm going to go this build pretty much every single game. These top items here every single game, except if I don't need the Divine Ruin, I'd probably throw on a Reaver. This would be my build, my personal build every single game. That's all I can tell you guys, is just give you guys options and tell you guys what I like. And you guys choose and do whatever you like, right? I appreciate you guys for clicking on the video. It does mean a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.